Good morning everyone, afternoon and evening as well. Today is Monday. It's the start of a new week, not the start of a new reset in World of Warcraft, but what we have for us today is yet another informational video. I am here to share some more knowledge about things you should do to maximize your character in all different activities. For today, the major part of this video will take place in the form of professions, because what we are going over today is how to get a whole bunch of profession knowledge, so the skill points for your professions as well as the profession skill points themselves. Now, this is something I have seen mentioned quite a few times as I was doing these activities on my stream by my viewers, mentioning what I was doing or how were you getting this information from, etc, etc, etc. So I thought it was going to be a good thing to share this knowledge to a wider audience and give you the tools to find all of these things for your professions, which is going to help you quite a bit. So let's start with the first helpful tip, which is the one to catch treasures for your professions, which will give upwards of 21, 24, 27, maybe even 30 profession knowledge points for the specific professions. Now, the first thing worth pointing out is that these treasures are only available to crafting professions, so skinning, herbalism and mining do not have these treasures available. That being said, it works very simply. You just go to these coordinates and you find the treasure, you pick it up, you right click it and you gain 3 profession knowledge for this specific profession. Not all of these treasures have been discovered. In fact, by the time I did these treasure hunts, and now we have discovered a couple more for blacksmithing, for example, 2 more for inscription, while engineering still only has 2 discovered at the moment. So generally it looks like most of these professions will get 7 to 9 different treasures, which is going to turn into 21 to 27 extra knowledge points, so extra talent points to put in your profession talent trees, basically. So very simply, if you're not aware of this already, you could just download something like TomTom to set the coordinates in game, create a macro, copy all of these coordinates inside the macro until you have space in your characters for the macro, and then click the macro and those little points will show all over the map to show you where you have to go. If you don't even want to use TomTom, if you are a boomer, then at the very minimum find yourself a coordinates add-on. So an add-on that will show you where are the coordinates, so you're going to be able to see these coordinates and match them to the map, so you know where you have to go. Last point for this first part about collecting profession knowledge, none of these treasures are particularly difficult to obtain. There is not going to be like a mystery or a puzzle to unlocking these treasures just because they are special, just because they are epic or something like that. They are mostly just find them, click them and loot them. Not anything too particular about these treasures. The second type of help for your profession comes from the profession masters, the profession experts that you have to find across the world. This is even faster than the profession knowledge treasures. Flying around to get all of these 7 or 8 treasures for your profession might take you 10, maybe 15 minutes. This one should take you 2 or 3, because all you have to do is get these coordinates and head towards each and every one of your profession masters. Find them, ask them to give you some tips about the profession, and you will be receiving 5 professional knowledge and 25 artisans metal, one of the currencies / reagents needed for your professions. There is a little bit of a win in this case for gathering professions, because the gathering professions are going to gain 10 knowledge instead of 5 from this master. Remember that the gathering professions did not have the treasures for them to obtain more professional knowledge, so the extra gain in knowledge from these profession masters is sort of warranted, right? So this is another pretty fast way for you to get some free knowledge for your professions. Once again, just check out the coordinates for these profession masters and go and find them. And once again, there is nothing really difficult about them. It's not that they will start a chain quest for you to complete, or they're going to be difficult to find or anything. It's going to be quite simple. Just head to their location and talk to them. Lastly, for the professions, there is the reminder about the Darkmoon Faire. Darkmoon Faire, which has already begun this week, before even having to wait for the reset. And with the Darkmoon Faire in town, they will also offer you the Dragonflight updated version of the profession quests. Just like they had profession quests before in previous expansions, now the profession quests will be giving you 2 profession skill points and 3 profession knowledge points for each and every profession that you have learned, including the smaller professions, fishing and cooking, although those 2 are going to be skill points only and not knowledge, since those 2 don't have knowledge points to gain, just the skill points themselves. So not nearly as important, but for your main professions, being able to get 2 skill points and 3 knowledge is a pretty good and fast way to get some free ones, really, because all you have to do is complete the very simple quests that you get offered in the Darkmoon Faire. So once again, in about 5 minutes, you should be done with these professions from the Darkmoon Faire. Now, the profession bit is over. Now we go into the loot bit of the video. You might have noticed recently a whole lot of talks about possible exploits and possible ways to get much higher item levels, etc, etc. We have been discovering recently that the open world is scaling much higher than previously thought. Unlike Shadowlands and unlike BFA, at the start of this expansion, the world quests item level of rewards is going much higher than before. And with the open world quests, you also have much higher item level scaling of pretty much everything. So it's not going to be just world quests. The rare mobs are going to have rewards depending on your average item level of your character. The cash reward at the end of the Tuskar Feast, as well as the cash reward at the end of the Great Hunts or the Siege on Dragonbane Keep, will also scale with your item level. So there are plenty of different types of rewards now in the open world, which can easily, as you can see from here, easily beat Mythic 0 372 item level. So in our initial tips to get good item level on your character, we already said to try to hold on to your world quests for as long as possible, because this way you can gain item level from heroics, you can gain item level from Mythic 0 and scale up the item level from world quests. Now this has been made even more important. Now it's not just world quests, it's a whole bunch of other things. And then we also know that the world quests will scale much higher. Previously it was thought that they were going to stop at 372, which was the item level of Mythic 0, but very quickly it turned out to be not like that. Now world quests are getting much higher than that, so you can definitely keep an eye out on rewards in the open world to get much higher item level than you could get from Mythic 0, for example. Talking about the item level and the rewards and the open world, now you have some of these better rewards can come from these specific rares. These are the type of rares which currently have this type of high scaling from their rewards, where the majority of the rares will indeed stop at 372, which is the Mythic 0 equivalent. So open world stuff can at the very best even out with Mythic 0. These type of rares can actually go above, can go past 372. These are quite important for you if you have already gotten, for example, into 370 plus range of item level. These rares will be giving you, with a very high chance, a pretty good piece of gear. However, these type of rares also require a bit more grinding, because whereas the other general rares usually only have one item in their loot table, so you can go, for example, into a site, check which type of loot you need, look at the rare drops the plate chest you need, you go, you kill the rare, you get your plate chest. That is how you have gotten used to defeating rares. However, these type of super rares have a larger loot pool, so you're not guaranteed to actually get the rare you want when you defeat one of these. These rares are going to have 10 to 15 different possible items, some of which are shared amongst themselves. But the important part about the rares is that they can scale the item level quite high up. So if you don't have very high item level, you can still do these rares to try to get some piece of gear. You can get it later on anyways. If you already have quite high item level, past 365, close to 370, you can start to aim at these specific rares to be able to get higher item level. So that is another important little bit of min-maxing you can do as you wait for the season to begin. As I said, to all of these things, I am going to leave you the links down in the description to show you where are all of the treasures for the professions, all of the profession masters for the professions as well, and then also the location and the loot table of all of these rares, if you want to make a bucket list of which rares you have to focus for your particular spec. Finally, to close, don't forget, talking about Darkmoon Faire, if you're doing the now very popular Obsidian grind of keys, don't forget that with the Darkmoon Faire, you don't just get the profession quests for you, you also get the 10% experience buff, which is going to work when you turn in your keys. So, as a suggestion, create however many keys you want, but wait. Before turning them in, go take a stop at the Darkmoon Faire, get your 10% experience buff, and then go back and turn all of the keys at once for the juicy 10% extra reputation. So, don't forget that bit as well, talking about min-maxing your character. So with this for today, for this start of the week, we are giving out yet another bit of information for players to try to get as much as they can from their characters, whether it is power in terms of loot or power in terms of crafting. These were the tips for today. Now, as we leave each other, I'm going to thank all of my Patreon supporters, of course, for helping and contributing to the growth of the channel. You can still support in other ways, such as liking and commenting down below, as well as subscribing to the channel itself. You can also follow me on Twitter, as well as nowadays also find me on Twitch. Streaming starting from around 10 p.m. European times, 1 p.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. Eastern time zones in the US. Because I need some minions to reflect all of my thoughts when I play, it would be appreciated for you to drop by and let me use you as my personal chatting punching box. That would be of great help as well. With this out of the way, thank you guys again for watching, see you guys soon, and in the meantime, not nearly as bad as I thought. I thought this was going to be a much longer video. I think we kept it reasonably close this time around.